No one noticed. Social media is dying by Dylan Page. Well, yes, social media is dying. The more you know. Like a random bug in your room and wash with your country. Yeah. First of all, we have data supporting the fact that that we reached social media usage peak. And it's now way less social media and just now content. Even the Zuck said that it's not really social media anymore. And well, with more AI stuff flooding the gates and Sora AI now as well, Sora 2. Yep, we are in trouble. We are in trouble when it comes to like social media, but also just like content consumption in general. And it's gonna be worse and worse.
Oh, since we last spoke, shocking new data release just showed.
Yeah, so Americans' time on social media is still rising. Looking at the trend, the global trend, right? Global average is dropping. North America is rising. Europe is dropping. Asia Pacific is also dropping.
Shows that social media peaked in 2022 and it's been gradually declining ever since. We witnessed history of.
To be fair, I only think it peaked in 2022 due to the pandemic.
22-year-old inventor ran the world's first muscle car off of fuel he converted from plastic waste. Japan is about to elect their first female prime minister in history. Bad Bunny is called.
Yeah, but she's incredibly, she is very conservative. So, she's apparently more conservative than Shinzo Abe, so it's going to be very interesting.
Causing a major NFL boycott, and holidays in China are absolutely terrifying. All that and so much more. Subscribe to the channel if ya give it up for this bloody Spooktember studio. Woo! All the Empress is doing. Now, I have hurt my back, so I cannot do any whipping, and this one's like majorly hurt. So let's stop the yapping and let's get cracking. You're lucky I'm doing this video stood up. I was about to do this, the first ever sitting down video. That would be crazy, and I didn't, and I still got a whip in, so you're welcome. Okay, let's kick today off with a story that absolutely shocked me. I mean, no one is really talking about it, perhaps because no one's really noticed, but social media usage actually peaked.
Yep, it's dying. It's dying. Hi, me. How are you doing? Hope you're doing good. Hello. Yeah, social media usage is dying. It is, it's not just dying, it's also that, like, everything's content now. Like, the social media stuff is, like, not needed really anymore. And, everything's been flooded by AI. Everything. Sora can, like, recreate anime nowadays. It's, like, crazy work. What else is there? You have like Stephen Hawking doing like crazy stunts in like in his wheelchair and like races and shit. We laughed at the horrendous Will Smith AI video. And now sometimes I'm like, I need to look closer because I'm like questioning, is this real? Like, is this actually happening? Like, they've been jailing Jinxie for explicit like there's an AI video of like Jinxie being like putting under arrest for explicit Clash Royale pictures and videos. I'm like, bro, what? That's like, and I'm sometimes like gay Logan Paul or stuff like that. It's just crazy.
Peaked in 2022, and it's been steadily declining ever since. And the thing is, I was actually planning to talk today about the Sora app and how over the past couple of days, all of these huge creators, I'm talking Mr. Beast, Casey Neistat, they've all been talking about how scary the future of content.
Yeah, they're also like using MLK and Kennedy and who else was it? Michael Jackson for these, right, as well. And we have like all these like crazy historical figures like doing weird dances and shit. It's just crazy. Yeah, remember that one fireworks city in China for decades? Nothing's wrong, but last time the firework turned into a real fire disaster in the middle of the crowd. Crazy work.
content creation is and social media because of it. But in the research for that, I stumbled across this. Now, big credit to the Financial Times for doing this analysis, but as you can see from these charts, every single age range has seen a decrease in time spent on social media. Surprisingly, with the age range 16 to 24 being the most pronounced. They've decreased the most. In fact, the only age group that hasn't seen a significant drop is the age category of 55 to 64, which I guess it does make sense since they are still adopting social media to start with. Now, the second chart...
Yeah, they're still working on it to figure out how this works. Craving apple pie today, nice.
It gets even more interesting because the reason for using social media has also dramatically changed as well. Now, it's no shock that the era of using social media to, keep up with your friends and be more so...
It's just content. That's really what it is. It's just content. It really is. People just use it now for content. Everything's content. I'm content, your mom's content, everyone's content. The fucking neighbor's cat is content.
Social in that regard has kind of just disappeared entirely. But what is kind of shocking is that the biggest reason to go on social media for most people remains to keep up with celebrities, which actually also peaked in 2022 and has been declining as well. And I imagine those kind of things like keeping up with celebrity can fall into the category of like, what is the latest Mr. Beast upload? Like that, not like, what is Kim Kardashian doing today? Now, the category that has kept on rising is to fill spare time. Now, I think that one in particular is probably the most worrying and is the one that is worrying content creators like Mr. Beast, Casey Neistat and stuff. Because if one of your main primary reasons to go on TikTok or to YouTube is just to fill spare time, you're much less concerned about watching an amazing work of art made by a master film.
TikToks. That's what people like scrolling in TikToks. That's really what it is. And like brain rotted AI. Internet's full of glitches. Twitter's boring. Reddit is toxic. YouTube is dead. Kinda, yeah. Social media has become less social. The irony, yeah, pretty much, yeah. And the thing is that people are still not touching grass, though.
Maker. You're kind of just there to get a couple hits of dopamine, to have a few chuckles, and then just get back to what you were doing. I mean, it's like a not that deep. It's not that deep, bro, kind of scroll. And I think that's the difference between mindful scrolling and mindless scrolling. And as we can see by the data, mindless scrolling is on the rise. Then, there is the most fascinating chart of all, in my opinion. As you can see, the global average of time spent on social media is decreasing. And the exact same you can see in Asia and Europe. But the only region that is actually bucking this global trend is North America. You guys over there, you're still climbing somehow when the entire other world is going down. In fact, by 2024, Americans' usage actually reached levels 15% higher than Europe. So the big question...
That explains a lot, actually. That explains quite a bit, actually. To be honest, I don't have TikTok. I do have TikTok, and I don't recommend. Mostly because it's essentially the breeding ground for everything that's horrible. It's the headquarters of any buzzword you can find. It really is. It really is.
The question is, why? Why is social media technically dying right now? And even more bizarrely, why is that exacerbated for younger people? Now, there's a lot of answers to that question. There's not just one. But if I were to throw my little 2 cents in the wishing well here, I feel like this is evidence that we're starting to see a distinction being made between good content and content that you can't stop watching, because there is a difference. And the difference is that's what determines how you feel after you get off the app. It's kind of like the difference in feeling you get after you binge eat unhealthy food out of addiction versus eating an unhealthy meal on the weekend because you know you've earned it. But the problem is the algorithms that run social media massively blur the lines between what's good content and addictive content. I mean, that's literally brain rot content, isn't it? I mean, no one's gonna say that brain rot content slop is good, but it's also very popular and addictive.
Yep. You can waste a lot of time just scrolling and it's like, it's just slop. Like, it's crazy, right? Everything that I see is, like, if I use TikTok, everything I see that is AI, I just immediately nuke that. I essentially have no AI stuff on my timeline if I use it, right? I just nuke that. I just go like not interested in like all categories, right? So like I don't have that issue. But then I look at like what my sister consumes and my mom consumes, and it's like it's all AI. It's all AI. All of it. It's just all AI. It's just everything is AI. It's so weird.
But the problem is, because the social media algorithms prioritize watch time, this in turn forces content creators to make content that keeps you watching over content that makes you feel something, that makes you think, that tells a meaningful story, that sends a powerful message, that helps you learn something. And I mean, the list goes on. And I mean, the distinction between these two types of content has never been more clear to me than when Speed was getting a tour around MrBeast's studio. Now, Jimmy was showing him a bunch of these sets for an upcoming video, and one of them was the ceiling and the walls. They were filled with spikes. As the video starts, they slowly start coming in. And this is all while it's closing in, where the contestants are trying to figure out a puzzle. And when MrBeast explained the whole reason for doing this, he said this.
Yeah, this is the intro shot. It's gonna be crazy. Because like, you click on a video, spikes are instantly coming down, people are solving puzzles. How do you stop watching? It's so cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic Mr. B.
And when I heard that, it just suddenly hit me all of a sudden. It was like his main thing was, how do you keep people watching once they're on? Not what amazing.
Yeah, because watch time is another thing. If you don't keep people watching, your video dies. If people click on your video and immediately click off, the video is dead immediately. The video is effectively dead immediately.
Basic story or, you know, video do I want to create? And I'm not saying that MrBeast content isn't good. You guys know I glaze MrBeast a lot. But I think a lot of people are questioning the future of social media, especially right now when apps like Sora are just flooding the internet with this.
It's just fucking Mario. High-speed car chase.
Crazy content. They're all like, what the hell?
Park now!
I'm sorry, officer. I just...
Don't move! Latch is locked! Open it right now!
AI Mario is crazy. AI Mario is actually insane. That's crazy. Does Nintendo know that? I hope that, like, all of these, right? All of these, like, the AI thingies, right? They essentially, like, come together and just, like, fucking, like all of the things that have been used in AI, like Nintendo just like straight up goes and sues these fuckers at this point. I'm like, yo, Nintendo, lawsuit, how about that? Been drawing for years and AI is actually unhealthy. It's just drawings from AI, how good it is. It feels like it loses something, and yet brainrock content, TikTok always use it. Well, that's how it is. That's how it is, and it's not going anywhere. That is too late because there's no laws around it. The only way to stop it is laws, but nobody's concerned about that right now.
He's still southbound, weaving through traffic, 88 miles an hour.
Out of the way! Mamma mia!
I think it's going to start to matter a lot more about how people feel when watching the content rather than just people watching the content. And I think if it's just addictive watching because you can't stop, then you're going to see trends like this continue. Anyway, sorry, I should probably cut this one off sooner rather than later. This is supposed to be a Monday Rapid Fire. Just passionate about the subject. Moving on. But talking about good content, guys, over the weekend, we may have just witnessed history. So on Saturday, 22-year-old inventor Julian Brown ran the first ever muscle car on plastiline, not gasoline. Plastiline is his 110 octane gasoline that he converted from plastic waste. Now, as you can see from his live stream that he did in Atlanta, he turned the car on to show.
But the question is that even, like, feasible? Like, does that even make sense? Because I would assume that you need a lot of energy to turn that from plastic into, like, fuel again. So, I don't know. Might be rough.
The crowds watching, I think there was like up to 1,000 people there, that there was no fuel inside, and sure enough, it couldn't start. Then he proceeded to fill it with a canister of plastiline, press the button, and boy, it started, and the rest is history. Now, to be clear to everyone that I know is rushing into the comments right now, Julian Brown didn't invent pyrolysis. Converting plastic to fuel is a well-established process that has been around for decades.
Yeah, obviously. Maybe he did improve upon it? I don't know. People in 2023, AI won't be able to take over the world. They can't make a proper video. People in 2025 cooked. Yeah, true. Yeah, it's just like yeah, this was, to be fair, it's gonna be worse. Like, it's gonna get worse. Give it like another 2 years and it's over. Like, legitimately, it's over.
But what Julian Brown did invent is the world's first ever continuous solar microwave pyrolysis reactor. That is a world's first. And this reactor fundamentally changes how renewable and expensive this process of pyrolysis is. And what needs to be stressed even more than just that is that he did all of this without the backing of large corporations, and he was able to do this all by himself in the backyard with a box of scraps.
With a box of scraps!
Now, he says that
Bro is the Tony Stark of energy.
the reason for doing all of this is to send a message to the world that people are no longer gonna wait for big corporations or big government to do what needs to be done.
We are done. It does not matter. We're not going to wait on some big corporation, some big government to do what needs to be done. If we need to do it ourselves, we will do it ourselves because this is our world.
In fact, in May, he got his plastic diesel scientifically tested, and it passed with flying colors. In fact, the lab even said that Julian's diesel released better emissions than regular diesel.
I thought it was surprisingly well distilled. I thought it was surprisingly clean as well for plastic. And it blew my mind that plastic could be redistilled into diesel.
Now, he says his ultimate end goal is to get this into the world and where it needs to be.
Let's get it in the world. Let's get it implemented how it needs to be, because that's the whole point of why I started this.
Literally, like, right? Plastic waste, turn that into gas. Turn it into diesel. There's just a lot of places where diesel is used. Why not? Turning it, like, fish it out of the ocean if it's still usable. Turn it into gas again. It's just perfect. Like Tony Stark, true and real.
And so that's the strive and the move, without a doubt, to get this where it needs to be.
So, big congratulations to Julian. Protect this man at all costs. Moving on.
I'll give this man 2 to 3 years and homie's gone. We'll never find bro again.
Also, talking about history being made, Japan is about to make history of their own, because Sanai Takachi is about to become the country's first ever
This is gonna be very interesting. She is very conservative. She's very conservative. It's gonna be interesting for Japan.
female prime minister. And the thing is, you're probably thinking, oh, that's a pretty liberal and progressive move by Japan. Well, no, actually, it's the opposite. Sanai is actually a hardline conservative. She's anti-immigration and actually anti-liberal. In fact, she isn't even a conventional feminist at all, but rather in favor of traditional values. Because she opposes things like married couples having different surnames, same-sex marriages, and she's also not in favor of women inheriting the throne in Japan's royal family. And Japan's ruling party, which is ironically called the Liberal Democratic Party, they elected her as their next leader. And that's a move to actually attract more.
Funnily enough, the terms are kind of switched here. See, at least for example here in Europe, liberal does not mean like liberal in the American sense. Liberal here means in the conservative sense. I don't know how different that is to Japan, but if they call themselves the Liberal Democratic Party, I mean, they can still be conservative but democratic, so that doesn't cancel each other out. I guess you could be conservative but also still liberal, I guess.
Or conservative voters. And while she hasn't been technically voted in as prime minister yet, her party is the biggest in Japan's more powerful lower chamber, meaning she's by far in the lead to be elected when lawmakers make a vote later this month. But why this is so significant is because, I mean, kind of like we're seeing all over the world right now, political parties in Japan are now also leaning more to the right to secure the votes and the power that is needed to be in government. And it just highlights how so many countries are leaning more to conservative values and conservative politics right now. But the question is, what do you guys think? Is she one?
The problem is that we currently live in a time where we are getting more progressive. And with getting more progressive, we have noticed shit gets worse. And I think the general population has realized that, so now we're making a move backwards to see if that fixes the problem. I don't know if it does. If it does, good. If it doesn't, then the problem's somewhere else. But yeah, that's the reason. Also, like, the regular population realizes that, like, progressivism does not result in what people need. That's why they're pushing back.
what Japan needs right now, or the complete opposite? Let me know your thoughts. Moving on. Also, staying in Asia, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but oh my lord.
I've actually seen this, yes. I've seen this on, was it I think it was on Twitter, yeah. There were like millions of people. We're stuck here. It's crazy.
Lord, China holidays are terrifying. Now, the country is currently having their Golden Week national holiday, which spans a massive 8 days. But when your country has a light population of 1.4 billion people and they're all trying to travel across the country for a little holiday, you get absolute chaos. I mean, look at that. That's got to be one of the worst traffic jams I've seen in my life. Like, how many lanes is even that? But also remember, that's just the people driving. Most people in China get the train. So, if you want to know the actual numbers, their national railway saw a record-breaking 23.13 million trips on the first day. That has never happened before in China. That's record-breaking. That's like taking the entire population of Australia and getting them...
See, they thought that by taking the train, they would get an advantage. They would not get stuck. Well, that didn't help. They still got stuck.
All to travel on the train on one day. And in fact, over this holiday period, the Ministry of Transport say that they are expecting to see 2.36 billion trips over the holiday period. Billion! But the crazier part is that China's not even a stranger to this kind of thing, because in 2010, they had the world's worst traffic jam in history. It lasted 12 days straight. There were some people stuck in their cars for 5 days without being able to go anywhere. Point is, no matter how busy you think that your transportation is, it cannot be China busy. Moving on.
Hey, maybe not busy, but incredibly late. Germany.
Also, last episode we spoke about how Netflix and
Peak, by the way, good decision on the people to unsubscribe from Game Pass and Netflix, especially Netflix. Good.
Microsoft were getting cancelled at the same time. Well, it was only a matter of time before another company was in the firing line, and in this time, it's not just a company. It's kind of an entire sport. Thousands of people are now trying to boycott the NFL. I guess that's kind of a company, but also a sport, because of an announcement that they made that Bad Bunny will be performing the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Which, hearing that, you might think, why are they trying to cancel them for that? Isn't he like the or one of the most listened to artists in the world right now? Yeah, he is, but you'll be very unsurprised to hear it's about politics, because of course it is. Now, you may or may not know that Bad Bunny has been a longtime critic of Trump, and he actually recently canceled his shows in the US in response to the ICE raids. Now, that pissed a lot of people off. But then, despite that, he accepts the offer to do the halftime Super Bowl show, which many people call...
Yeah, for once, I am absolutely certain that this is a money move. So yeah, actually understandable. Not just because of his politics, but generally understandable because the guy is a money sucker, a dick-sucking money sucker.
It's like a culturally American event. And then, just to add the icing on top of the angry cake, his songs will be exclusively in Spanish, not English. In fact, even the US Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem commented on the decision by saying that the NFL are weak and that they will not be able to sleep at night. And that also that ICE enforcement will be at the Super Bowl and, in her own words, will be all over that place. And then the situation, yeah, it gets even crazier because it kind of reached a boiling point over the weekend because Saturday Night Live was hosted by Bad Bunny and he spoke in many parts in Spanish. Proudly. He also said things like NFL fans have 4 months to learn Spanish.
If you didn't understand what I just said, you have 4 months to learn.
And that everyone is happy about this decision, that he will perform, even Fox News. And then he proceeded to cut a clip of Fox News saying some very positive things about him.
And I think everyone is happy about it, even Fox News.
Bad Bunny
is my favorite musician,
and he should be the next president.
Now, as you can imagine, the back...
Yeah, I can understand why they wouldn't want him there. I'll be real. I wouldn't understand what they don't want him as the people who lock children in cages. Super gets fame and money and boost. Yeah, but I can understand why people don't want him here. I don't like him already.
Clash for this was huge online. People started posting things like, stop watching the NFL. Hey NFL, Bad Bunny purposefully insults the fan base that made you incredibly wealthy. I promise there is a line, and if you push over it will mobilize the right against you and you won't recover for a long time. They're even calling Bad Bunny a racist, saying dump this racist asshole. And the thing is, these posts have been getting thousands of reposts and millions of interactions. But then on the other end, I think it's worth noting that Bad Bunny is an American citizen. Puerto Rico, where he was born, is American. It's American territory. So those who support him are arguing that Spanish is clearly part of American culture and that this is all just an attempt to marginalize the Latin American community in the country. So the big question is, what do the NFL do from here? Will they fold under the pressure and tell Bad Bunny, actually, no, you can't do the halftime Super Bowl? Or will they stick to their metaphorical guns? You got to emphasize that when you're speaking about America. Anyway, I think that wraps today's video. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. I hope you guys enjoy the spook season. It's not 100% yet, but it's getting there. Anyway, I am off to record a Page Bros video talking about 2 weeks later, it was the iPhone 17 worth it? Am I sticking to my iPhone 17 or am I switching back to Android? So, better rush off. Love you guys. See you on Wednesday.
Anyways, NFL won't. Probably not. Okay, here are my takes. We're cooked. Social media. We're cooked. Social media is dying. AI is gonna take over. That's pretty much clear. The traffic in China is rough, buddy. That's rough, buddy. That's genuinely yeah. You're cooked there. You're cooked right there. Nice that we can turn plastic into fuel. That man's gonna be gone soon. And for the NFL thing, I can kind of understand why people are upset. Kinda. Not because there's multiple reasons to be upset for. Will that change anything? Probably not. But yeah, I can see it. I can see why. I can see it. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe.